is already booted up. That is excellent. It's 2 a.m. Just woke up. Got a call for a house fire. I've had a few videos on some emergency response that we do now. This one here is not fire. It's actually just a couple streets over from my old home. So what I'll do when I get a fire, I make sure I have my map open, ready to go, in case I have to dump the entire main line, which is not typical, but it has happened. If it's a really bad fire and they've got to get their ladder truck out, I've had to happen. Jeez, I've had to dump the main line in the past. Alright, so now that things are a lot more under control than they were when I showed up, I'll just give you guys a little bit of a description as to what was going on. Not something I could be rolling the camera while doing when I showed up. Things were extremely hectic, and I don't ever put the GoPro on for stuff like this out of respect. If there's any injuries or something, we don't want to have that footage online. So I did get a couple shots while I was on the radio with dispatch, but before even calling dispatch, we can see that's the house that's on fire there. The boys pretty well got her under control. There's a transformer at the top left of the screen you can just barely see in the background, and there's a transformer, well, the one this light's pointing at, that's blinding my extremely dirty windshield right now. As soon as I arrived, pulled in, bad fire like that. Didn't go talk to the chief, didn't talk to anyone, parked my truck in a spot where I knew I wasn't going to be in the way, especially if other fire trucks rolled in. So probably about 100 meters back behind the closest fire truck. And hope they're getting the ladder out right now. We're gonna gear up and get a ground on that primary. I'll give you guys a scoop on that here shortly. Yeah, we can still see some flames coming out of the attic there. So what we did, as soon as I rolled in, before talking to dispatch, fire chief, anyone, see it, the fire this bad, and roll in, open the transformers at the very least. Even sometimes I'll open the main line, the primary, the overhead, to be more safe than sorry. So what we did, there's a transformer on either side of the house, both 100 kVAs, which can feed a ton of customers. And rather than walk up and down the street trying to trace the triplex for open points or start looking up accounts, which could have a wrong number if the transformers are that close, we just open them both up. Depends on your jurisdiction, obviously adhere to your company policies. At our company, we can open any line that we have to if it's an emergency situation without talking to anyone. Never close the switch, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, but if we 100% understand what we're doing, we can open the line. So we opened the transformer on either side, and as I was walking past the second transformer, I could see the triplex had already shorted out. There was apparently after talking with the guys from the fire department, there was quite a bang as the secondary was shorting out, and it burnt down. That secondary burnt down to the ground, didn't trip the transformer's fuse, which is typical. It very rarely does. A secondary fault when the line burns down doesn't usually trip the transformer fuse. So we opened that. Then I touched base with the fire chief, let him know that power was out to the house, but we still got power in the primary overhead. So they had the ladder truck in position, no outriggers were out, the ladder wasn't out or anything. They don't use it often for residential fires like this. So I asked him, is there any chance that you might need the ladder? When the blaze was pretty intense, you could feel that heat from 50 meters away. It was wild. And he said, we have it on standby, we could take it out at any time. So let's not chance it. So I went back into the road, opened the sideline. It's only feeding maybe 50, 60 houses. So we opened that up. I let him know that was open, and he still couldn't go within 12 feet. The line was open, there's no grounds on, but I did want to get that line open right away. So I called my dispatcher, let him know that I opened under standard operating practice, blah, 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 that I opened the main switch. The street was dead. So I asked him to get a permit ready between the protection points, which he did, and I actually took the permit. So my name is down in the system that I have the permit, and I got the bucket out, ground, potential indicator, rubber gloves, hot stick, had everything set up. I'm right behind the ladder truck here, which you can see in a clip a second ago, and said as soon as I see any movement of that truck, I'm going to put the ground on. He said it wasn't likely, so rather than go up in the air and ground it out and everything, I had everything ready to go, and it takes them a few minutes to set up. So as soon as I saw them getting ready to set up, we jumped the boom, we got the line grounded out. They still got their 12. We've got a couple guys at the end of the ladder now. There's 2 guys at the end of the ladder lining up the hose to shoot down into the roof. So they still have their 12 feet clearance. They still have their 12 feet clearance from the primary, but when you're fighting a fire like this, you definitely don't want any extra risks or dangers. It's something that you can control. If there's any extra hazards, like 7,200 volt lines, and you can control that, and that's what we're gonna do. So they got the cannon going there now, shooting the water down into the roof. There you can see they have the water cannon. It's flared up a few times since we've been here now. Sometimes at this point I'm able to cut the secondary clear and close the line back in and head out. This one here I could throw my hooks on and climb up that pole and clear that, but the fire's not, it's under control for sure, but it's there's still enough activity going on that I'm not going to get in their way and start climbing a pole and cut the stuff, drop it to the ground and that. So we'll wait another half hour or so, and then what we'll do, if I can get my truck in there, awesome, I'll go up in the boom, I'll cut all the telephone lines, secondary down, I'll inspect the line feeding the neighbor's house that received quite a bit of heat because his siding's already gone. Once we deem whether that one's safe or not, we have the other one cut clear, we'll energize the transformers and close that sideline back in. So it's 3 in the morning now. We got the call, it was just before 2. So we'll probably get back home around 4 o'clock, or maybe 5 at the latest. No, as I mentioned in videos before, there was nobody injured at this incident. If there's any injuries, then I'd be scrapping all the footage. So everyone's safe. Everyone get out of the house okay, thankfully. And yeah, this has been the first fire in over a month for me here. So it's noon following day. I didn't end up getting home until 5:30, 6 a.m. this morning. So dispatcher just called the home right next to the fire. They had called and they were concerned about their electrical entrance where it was so near to the fire. We're gonna head over there again now that it's daylight. and take a look at things. Like I said before energizing it, we did inspect the triplex going in. Their siding is completely destroyed on that side of the house, however. So we're gonna head over, we'll take a closer look at things, and we'll help point the customer in the right direction as far as to what they can do for repairs, if it's something that should be done immediately, which I don't anticipate it does. But we'll head down and get a few shots of that and show you guys what we find. All right, so we're here now, and things are pretty well as expected. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, middle of the night, lots of action going on. It's easy to miss something. You got to take the time to make sure you don't. However, you come back the next day, things are settled down, and you might see something that's melted you missed. So it was good to definitely come by, take a closer look. So we went up the ladder. The restoration crew's already here, fixing up the siding on the neighbor's house to keep the water out, just temporarily putting up some hydrovac. And we went up on the ladder, took a real close look at the wires of the loop coming in, and there was no heat damage at all, which is amazing, because it completely melted the siding on the whole house except for that last couple feet where the entrance was. So what we did, we wrapped up the entrance with 1,000-volt insulated wrap. That's an approved insulated wrap by Salisbury. And that way the siding guys are able to put the tieback right up to where the entrance is without any hazards. So now that it's daylight too, we can see a little bit better the two transformers that we opened. There's one literally on either side of the property. It ended up being the transformer on the left-hand side of the property that fed the house. However, as I said, once it's daytime, it's pretty obvious which side was feeding. You can see right from the ground. However, with the urgency of the situation yesterday, we're not going to take a chance with that. We just opened both transformers and then ended up going back to the sideline switch, which we see right here. This is the single phase switch that's mounted in an incredibly awkward position that we opened to isolate this whole street. Other than that, just glad that everyone was okay. There was for the fire department yesterday, it was extremely busy. They had multiple calls actually come in as they received this call here. So there was some neighboring fire departments and some other communities that were called in to help respond, given the amount of calls that all come in at once. Thankfully, the other calls were pretty much false alarms. So take care of yourself, guys, take care of each other, and be safe.